Can we talk about the nice things again? Like the fact that Riot is finally using posts and media to tease lore. Or the fact that they actually listened and half a year later we got Aurora's Ornn plushie as a physical item. But oh well, there has been a new development regarding the issues with the Season 2025 progression systems. And we are talking about issues that have been discussed so much. Articles have been written, posts have been posted, and Riot has been forced into a corner where they had to address this. And while the big update Riot gave us was only talking about a blue essence, since pretty much everyone with a pulse called them out for removing the Hextech chests, we also got an update on that. Though that one is a lot smaller and quite a lot more disappointing. Now, disregarding champion capsules for a moment. The two big flaws the new season has are not enough blue essence going to the new players, meaning that new champion acquisition has been far worse, and the removal of Hextech chests. Now, looking at the feedback from my last video, I agree I could have gone harder on Riot for removing the chests. There have been some comments calling me the Riot Games bootlicker. Nothing new around the internet. So just very quickly, to set the record straight, I do not care about my relationship with Riot Games. I have countless videos on them for various reasons. And if I burn my bridges with Riot Games, what's the worst thing they can do to me? Take away my interviews, which are the worst performing videos I can release? Even if everything is on fire, I can just make more videos on them, because those videos are always popular. Anyway, previously, I was neutral on the chests, not because I was trying to protect them, but because Riot was pushing out a new system, where they shifted those rewards to the Battle Pass, and so I was willing to give them a chance. Maybe they were cooking something cool. Well, it turns out, it's been a week, and things are worse. And funnily enough, it is connected to the Blue Essence update. Now, the real reason why I wasn't really emotional about the Blue Essence is because it was obvious that the Blue Essence numbers were just wrong. Either by an oversight or by a mistake, there was no way that was intended. And that became more obvious after two separate writers came out and they confirmed that they are looking into this. From that point on, it was just about waiting to see how they deal with it. And well, they dealt with it, and they ignored everything else. So, why don't we dive into the new update on Blue Essence? This update immediately starts by Riot confirming that they screwed up. They didn't walk around it and simply said the numbers were not what they were planning for. And so at the beginning they start with what they intended. Apparently they wanted the Blue Essence rate to be the same or slightly bigger than what it used to be. As they say this, we pretty much just have to take their word on this. There is no way to see what their true intentions really are, especially if you have gacha machines rolling in the background. Anyway, they wanted to put all the Blue Essence stuff into the Battle Pass to simplify it. Which raises the question, how is that simplifying things? Understanding leveling wasn't too bad. So my assumption is that Riot is trying to cram everything into a Battle Pass so that there is one place where you can see all your rewards on a single track. Which of course, bringing up marketing, that would also make you see all the premium rewards which you would have to pay for. But again, my assumption is that is their goal. So that you can see all rewards by clicking on a single button. But if that is your goal, you can just fix that by putting a second track below that one, which would be your account level. Speaking of which, next they also address the account levels. It was never their intention to change how many games you should play as a new player before you unlock ranked. And they didn't want to slow down leveling for anyone who liked the icons and the borders and stuff like that. And I hate to say, that's not really the issue that people have with the leveling right now, but we'll get into that in just a second. Because next they dive into where things went wrong. Here they confirm that indeed the Blue Essence rewards for some people got significantly lower. And it also took 30% longer to reach level 30 to get ranked. Which is where we get a really important quote. And finally, we failed to communicate that the champion capsules from account level rewards after level 30 were moved to the pass when we talked about the other changes in November. And this is the one quote we should all pay attention to, because it was never intended to reduce the number of capsules that you would get. They wanted to give players the same amount, just in the pass instead. So that again, putting on my tinfoil hat, you can argue if people look there more, they are gonna see the premium rewards more. But the issue is, and this is something I honestly did not realize, because I'm not someone who is really using leveling to get champions anymore, that now, with the capsules removed, unless you care about the icons or the borders or just seeing a really high number, I guess, leveling past level 30 is pointless. Like, that entire system just doesn't have a gameplay reward anymore. It is just the icons and borders now. The thing is, this topic is a lot more complex, because at first sight, yeah, sure, it may seem harmless. Sure, your account level is just a number that passively goes up regardless of what you're doing. And so what does it matter if you get your capsules from your account experience or your battle pass experience? It's not like account leveling is something you can directly target, right? Well, yes, but actually no. You see, there has always been a way to target account levels, which some people used specifically to get new champions faster. And that is this one thing I kinda forgot about because I haven't utilized it in years, and it is a thing that seems to be entirely pointless now, called the XP boosts. Can anyone tell me what these are actually for now? Because in the past, I can understand these being an RP into new champion conversion if you use these to just level up quickly. Or in other words, it is just indirectly turning RP into blue essence. That would make sense. But now, if you buy these XP boosts, you're just buying icons and banners for RP. That seems to be it. And on the other side, by taking the champion capsules and putting them into the battle pass, well now, if you pay premium to skip levels, you're buying the capsules, right? Which is just a higher incentive to engage in something like that, right? So while this shift in loot seems fine at first, and again, I'll admit, I did not realize how deep this goes. It completely disconnects leveling from the other systems that Riot had. And that is the big problem that still remains there even after the blue essence change. Speaking of which, let's continue there. So next we get an Excel sheet that shows us what the numbers used to look like and what they look like now. So first, here's the old system. Here Riot explained that they spread the players across 4 categories. Players with low, medium, high and super high engagement. The important thing I quickly want to point out here are the medium players. A really interesting thing is that according to Riot, the medium players play about 41 hours in 2 months. And as you'll see in the second sheet, these average players reach about the 41st milestone on the new battle pass. Which is not even the free skin that you are supposed to get. Which is hilarious because, again, that is supposed to be the average players. Meaning that on average, according to Riot's numbers, people will not reach the free skin. I don't know if this is an oversight or if this is planned. Because again, putting on a tinfoil hat, it is possible that Riot can see the hours the players put in, and they can see that they put in about 41 hours. So what if we give them an extra reward if they play like 5 hours more? Hey, I'm not saying anything, but it is possible that Riot might be using this to inflate the play numbers. Anyway, at the bottom, you can see the average blue essence earned in the last season. Here we can point out that the lowest is about 4,500 blue essence, and the highest being about 37,000. This accounts for the first win of the day, which by the way, is gone in the new system, but it also accounts for the capsules that you would normally get through the leveling. At least, that is how I understand this note. Otherwise, these numbers wouldn't even make sense. But below that, we get the sheet for the new system. Here, they don't use hours played because they don't have that metric yet. I mean, the new season has been out for only a week. So instead, they project how many milestones the players would reach. So on average, at the start, players get their milestones faster. So with only 17 hours played, you can get 23 of them. With the medium players averaging about 1 milestone per hour, with 41 hours equaling 41 milestones. But the thing is, the higher you go, the more the milestones slow down. And because of this slowdown, if you have a look at the numbers at the bottom, things don't look great. For the low engagement players, sure there was an increase, but for everyone else, things were bad. As in, the players who played a lot lost at least 50% of their blue essence. Which means, All the articles were justified, this is hilariously bad. So, what does Riot have to say on that? They are happy that the system worked for low engagement players, which is sketchy, because later they say that they forgot to include the first win of the day in their initial calculations. Which means that even when they first calculated the outcome, it still had to look red. I am not exactly sure what happened. But alas, we did get some changes. So first of all, the milestones are getting a massive buff. These standard filler rewards are getting almost doubled. But the repeatable epilogue, which by the way used to give us the 50 blue essence, it is now 750. To put that into context, Riot was so off with their initial numbers that they increased this reward 15 times. But together, this resulted in an overall buff for the entire system, with the biggest buff going to the average players, with about 35% more blue essence compared to the last season. On top of this, Riot knows that there are a lot of people who already lost a lot of blue essence. And so during Act 2 there will be a special mission which should be easy to complete. I'm gonna assume it's gonna be like play one match or win a match or something like that. That gives you 4,250 blue essence. If you do the calculations, this should be slightly more than the average lost blue essence. That would be about 3,500. But also to act on the fact that people were not happy that previously they would be able to earn more champion capsules on average. In Act 2, the champion capsules will be turned into the glorious champion capsules. Now, you would be surprised just how hard it is to Google the rewards from these capsules. The only results that come up are 8 years old. But it seems like these now give you 3 champion shards instead of just 1, but they also have a low chance to give you some extra loot, such as an icon or maybe a ward skin. But I'll be honest, I am not completely sure what are the chances, or if there even are chances, of getting skins here. And lastly, since it also took us longer to level up the accounts, Riot is buffing XP by 40%, which is a lot. And that's it, because ironically the big point for leveling up vanished and there is nothing to replace it. So at the end of the post, Riot says that they heard the feedback and that is what forced them into running their math again. And they confirmed that the mistake they made in their calculations is that they forgot about the first win of the day. Again, this might be a bit sketchy because even if you include those numbers in the initial calculations, the new system still wouldn't be that great. But apparently this was the case for both calculating the blue essence and the XP. So, have these changes fixed the situation? When it comes to blue essence, sure. With the change to the glorious capsules, the rate of getting champions was fixed as well. But after everything was sucked out of the leveling system, it's now empty. Which is bad because you still have other things interacting with these systems, such as the XP boosts. Not to mention that again, even the XP boosts are connected to more things behind it, like special promotions and stuff like that. You would now have to replace all of those with something like a free level for the Battle Pass. I guess that doesn't sound that bad. But all of this is also connected to one more big thing. With people really starting to talk about acquiring champions. With other games such as Marvel Rivals being popular now, where you have all your heroes unlocked from the very beginning, a lot of people wondered just why aren't all champions free for everyone? Why not unlock it all? After all, we are in 2025 now. Well, Maddie from the team that works on the new player experience gave us a bit of an idea of what's really happening. While at first everyone goes back to Riot being greedy, and again yes, the reputation recently has not been great, there is an interesting twist to this. Unlocking all champs at once actually hurts new players. No guidance towards champs who are easy to understand, just a long list of names in champ select that is overwhelming. And this is a problem we have always assumed to be present, but it was never confirmed. It is absolutely backwards if you think about it. But unlocking more champions early on for new players actually gives them a higher chance of them quitting the game. Because they immediately get overwhelmed and they start thinking that they can never catch up. This is the exact same issue that a lot of other games have now. Especially MMOs with their years of content that are available from the very beginning and which overwhelm players who now have no idea where to go and so they just leave. But that makes me wonder, what does the percentage of people leaving the game actually look like? I don't think this is a secret that Riot has to hold for themselves. They could just tell us that, hey, if we give them 100 champions from the very beginning, there is the percentage of people leaving the game. But this is also connected to one more thing. You know how something like the Xbox Game Pass unlocks all the champions for you? Doesn't that mean that the people who actually buy the pass are also more likely to quit the game if they are new? I'm not sure Microsoft would be too happy about that one. But really, if I was Riot, maybe just look towards a new system where maybe you just give people a lot of tokens to unlock the champions gradually, but at the beginning you only feed them the easy-to-play champions. You know, you can give them little tokens to say like, hey, you can pick a new champion from this pool of easy-to-play champions. I mean, yes, those are the new player missions, but why don't expand that till they just have all the champions eventually? But that is a whole topic for another day, I guess. Lastly, there is one more big problem in the new system. And that, of course, is nothing more than Riot removing free-to-play Hextech chests, which were mostly removed from the mastery system, which, yes, leveling up masteries is now also just seeing a number go up. So now, many people were just left with many keys dangling in their inventory. And if we have a look at this update, we can see that that issue was absolutely ignored. Nobody mentioned the chests, nobody talked about them, everyone just looked away. And this had almost the Streisand effect, where everyone started focusing on the chests even more. And now, after Blue Essence got fixed, the Hextech chests are the new hot topic. And again, the debates are getting so big that just like before, Riot might be forced into acting. And we know this is the case because on the Spanish comms, we got a teaser that internally Riot is already debating the return of Hextech chests. I mean, this would make sense, right? It is such a good PR if you just come back with the thing that you took away from people. Which of course, people know is also a sketchy strategy, where companies take something away and then they give it back to you and nothing changed and now everyone is happy about it. But more than that, you know what that means? The pressure is working! We should all keep memeing about this. It worked for Blue Essence, and it will work now again. The changes will be reverted eventually, and while we are at it, can we please also meme about the Mordekaiser skin? I am really scared of what the gacha will get into.